Hi guys, I would like very much to show you the kind of mind map which I'm drawing related with the sales training. Having in mind that I'm having already written a blog for free sales training, which is already read by something like around 5,000 people starting from 2007. It's not so much, but not so little. And in this mind map, which I'm drawing, it is the first of this kind. From my point of view, I'm treating the sales as a project, and I'm trying to make an dynamical kind of mind map through which I'm using the colors, the metaphors, and the senses, through which I would like to accelerate the process of learning. Through this kind of mind mapping, I would like to make, how could I say, an improvement of communication process, treating the sales, as I told you, as a powerful tool reflected through mind mapping and also using the other senses, not only words. I'm considering myself that using slides would be possible to be successful from a point of view in which you are using the time as a motivator for making the invoices. But otherwise, if you are having in mind to reflect the way in which the sales trained person is having obtaining the results as soon as possible, and these results should motivate the level of invoice of the training and the value imposed, it should be better to have less time and more performance, considering more flexible the process of training instead of having something consecrated, how could I say, classical from this moment, and mainly standard, monotone, without any kind of stimuli. From my point of view, I'm preferring to have something attractive, dynamic, and using the way in which I will have to make ignited the curiosity of the guy who is exposed to my message of training. This is a reason for which I preferred to make an and I'm trying to make a mind map through which I will use, if I'm using the exposure of the training to Romanians, the bilingual system in which actually I'm writing down in English because they are interested and motivated, and they can more easily remain with the terms which I'm promoting to them and I'm explaining to them in Romanian. So, or otherwise, I can make the training valid in English. So, in this manner, having for them more easier to acquire the terms, the skills, the rules, let's say something, because I believe that I should be creative and they themselves should be creative in the manner in which they will explain the general framework of the sales project process. This is the reason for which I'm insisting on projects instead of processes, because from my point of view, despite the fact that there are some glorious, let's say, fundamental methods like the Busan one, like other kind of methods of sales, it might be very useful for them, for the guys who are instructed, to have the possibility to be instructed, considering the fact that they can customize their approach of sales. I believe very much that everybody is a special, let's say, individual, and this individual is having common characteristics like the all human beings, but also he is an individuality and he should preserve like this. The method should be the same, considering that he can customize, but also he should respect some skeletons elements of the projects. So considering like this, I will present them the stages of the projects, like I already did learn in PMBOK, project management body of knowledge. Also, I'm in this moment, as I told you, building and not finished the mind map, and I put some tools available for them from the four direction management treated by David Boddy, related with the fact that a project manager should have place his project through, let's say, something like a cross, having upwards the relationship managed superiorly with the guys who are sponsoring his project. Transversally, in the left hand, let's say, he will have the possibility to obtain a protocol through which he can collaborate with someone, with a collaborator. It's transversally, not keeping neglected the right hand, through which he will make a team. He will work something in which he will demonstrate that is not an individual, but how could I say, a director of people, of talents, energies, and he is engaging this kind of energies through his vision, using the kind of synergy with which he will obtain the materialization of his vision and efforts, but in the conditions in which he will mobilize his troops, opponents, competitors, and so. Also, from this point of view, I treated the way in which, like an impact, they are having some stages to be, how could I say, analyzed and acquired, assimilated, transforming the inner self through a civil guy to a salesman. And one of the most important is related with perspective, which I will continue to treat like this, and the closure, which is very important because most of the sales projects are not finalized because sometimes, or most of the times, the salesmen are missing the techniques of closure. Some problems are related with the mistakes of these kinds of approaches, projects, and because of some using of killer words, lack of, how could I say, prospecting and preparation, talking too much, not administrating quite very good the image management, which is related with the salesman, environment, the circumstances, the product, the sampling. These are some mistakes which should be, how could I say, acknowledged, and the sales instructed persons should got a little bit of awareness related with this. From this point of view, if the guy who is making the sales and is constructing his offer, it is prepared and he is being qualified to the person through whom he will expose his offer, he will have to be prepared related with the fact that the person to whom he is qualified will have some objections. And this is the reason for which I put the price, the product, the offer, the location, the moment, the supplier, the experience, which is past, actually some fear from the past, and no budget time, which has to be prepared like an objection during the process of negotiation. These are the main steps of the project, considering the fact that this is a project accustomed, adjusted to the mentality of the sales for obtaining a final result, which should be the sale like it is. Because the project management and treating the sales like a project are very, very interesting because, honestly, each project is unique and also each sale is unique. From this point of view, I treated in these conditions some aspects related with the way in which the person is prepared, how the tools should be engaged in using a better way of putting the sales effort in opera, something related with the risk matrix, something related with the way in which you can oscillate between the control and the perspective, and in these conditions you can see how you are going to treat the person in the front you are staying, I mean the customer, and this should be something like treating a person like a visionary, a master and commander, when he is having the perspective and the control both together united, or something like other kind of classes which I put them in my mind map. And from this point of view, I organized it very dynamically, as you may see, but she's not completed in this moment. I'm continuing this aspect with tools related with communication, with differences between, because it's very important to aware which are the differences between projects, processes, buying, selling, advertising, promoting. And from this point of view, I made this kind of mind map, which I will be proud if I will be, how could I say, in proper time finalizing this one. Look, this is the attachment which I will place in the mind map related with the steps of project management, the phases, and how I will treat them, not neglecting how I'm using the tools, how I'm going to be aware related with prospecting, with closure, with differences between the product and the offer, how I will make some tools proper, and how I will treat the situation of awareness of the influences, position, channel of communications with stakeholders participating to my sales approach, not neglecting Pareto. And the other kind of analysis is even differences between science of selling and science of buying, because it's a huge difference between selling and buying. The buyer, it is a professional who is going anyway to be decided, and he's having in mind a lot of things related with the sales process and buying, compared with the salesman who is meeting not a buyer but a client, a customer. So, related with this, considering my method and considering the way in which I can train persons, this is the reason for which I made this kind of, let's say, short film, through which I presented for the first time my mind map, and I would like proudly very much to show you finally. I will expose on YouTube. And in the meantime, if I'm going to finalize, also I will think about myself having some subjects treated in English for being more clearer and more available for a further collaboration for some sales training projects, or I don't know, depending on the proposal. Have a nice time. Thank you for spending your time with me, and see you with my next upload.